There's power lines that are down, from what I understand. I've seen numerous cars in the ditch. It's not looking pretty.
We've had some trees down, so I've just been out here cutting some branches and trying to turn traffic around here where there's no ice.
Big branches snarling traffic, buses emptied and spinning out as a spring snowstorm causes significant problems across our region, including shutting down a major highway.
Here's a look from the Rose City Skycam now. Pretty much a slushy mix on the valley floor with trees weighed down with both leaves and snow causing issues on both sides of the Columbia. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Laurel Porter.
And I'm David Mulco, and we continue our team coverage of this historic snowstorm. Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino watching what is headed our way next. But first to Bryant Clerkley in Northwest Portland.
And Bryant, the roads through the West Hills were hit pretty hard. We do have some good news, though. Highway 26 reopened after being shut down in both directions nearly all day. What's it like where you are?
Hey, Laurel and David, you know, it's turning out to be a pretty nice day despite some of these road closures. So this is Burnside and 24th. So if you're going up this way, the road is still closed, and PBOT says that it could be closed for several days to come. But it wasn't just road closures that caused issues this morning. It was also downed trees.
I haven't seen anything in the middle of April like this. And clearly, I mean, the trees can't handle it, so it's definitely unusual.
Driving throughout the Portland Metro, it was a cold, slushy start to the morning commute. Going up Vista Avenue in Southwest Portland, you could see trees down in the middle of the street. You could also find downed trees throughout downtown and the Goose Hollow neighborhood. Over on Highway 26, an Oregon Department of Transportation truck was hit by a tree, and this car on 17th and Jefferson had a tree lying on it. Drivers saw the same issues across the river in Washington. Here's some downed trees along I-5 near Ridgefield.
There's branches that have fallen and are perched on top of other branches, so they could fall at any moment. It's crazy.
Same story on the east side, where we saw more broken branches and limbs from this huge tree in a neighborhood near Mount Tabor.
You can see how the branches are hanging down and heavy with the weight of that heavy snow.
The tree is right outside arborist Pete Botke's home in southeast Portland. He says older trees and ones that are not native to the area are at huge risk of falling.
Everything's leafing out, so you have increased surface area. So, you know, trees naturally over eons have developed a way where they shed their leaves, so when we get this weather, it goes through it.
Botke says if a tree crosses any type of roadway or sidewalk, urban forestry can remove it for you. He says it can be very dangerous to try and remove these trees yourself.
As soon as you hear the crack and the pop, it's going to be too late to run out from under it. I mean, it happens in an instant, and I don't know if you can see the size of that branch. That would not do anybody any favors.
Even though the morning commute was challenging for a lot of people, someone made the best out of this rare spring snow by building a snowman. And Botke says that urban forestry will most likely take a couple of weeks to remove your trees. So if you can't wait and you need to find someone else, you can always call a private tree removal company, but just make sure that that company is licensed. David, Laurel?
Well, the snow is pretty, but it sure caused a lot of problems. Thank you, Bryant. All this winter weather also caused some large power outages. As you can see, there are more than 1,000 active PGE outages with more than 30,000 customers affected. That's down from earlier today with 852 outages, which affected 67,000 customers. And here is a quick look at the outages from Pacific Power. Not as many, but they're centered around the northwest part of the city. Now let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino.
And Matt, one of the things I'm really wondering with the thawing mess out there and temperatures as warm as they are, is this all going to refreeze tonight and cause even more trouble?
That is a potential problem for sure, David. Temperatures will be hovering right around freezing as they lower overnight tonight. So there is that chance that we're going to have some icy areas on roads from the slush and the water melting from that snow, especially up in the hills where it's going to get a little bit colder. Let's talk a little bit about our historic April snowfall, even for downtown Portland, where the records go back to the 1870s. Second snowiest April day we've ever had, and the first snowiest was on the 1st of April, so it was 10 days earlier in the year, and that matters. But 2 inches measured downtown here in downtown Portland, 1.4 in 1933 and 0.2 inches in 1901, and even the Portland airport had measurable snow, a little over 1.5 inches. Latest in the year they've ever had measurable snow at the airport. First time they've ever had measurable snow at the airport since the records have been kept there in the late 1930s. So again, super historic storm here in the northwest and around the Portland area. Some snowfall totals for you. Washougal, 11 inches. And I had one report that somebody emailed me in with 15 inches in Kelso, which is just unbelievable. Happy Valley, 7 inches. Sylvan, the West Hills, about 6 to 7 inches. Lake Oswego had 4. And again, downtown Portland, 2 inches of snow. Now, on the modeling here, you'll see the showers pick up again late tonight, tomorrow morning. So don't be surprised if we see some snowflakes again tomorrow. It won't be as heavy as what we had last night and this morning. At most, I think we would get an inch up in the hills, which shouldn't be too hard to deal with. And then rain showers later on during the day as it warms up in the afternoon. But again, about 34 in the morning. Rain, snow mix for the valleys, no accumulations on the valley floor, but up in the hills there could be a little bit there. And then rain showers, even a thunderstorm threat tomorrow, because we haven't seen enough wild weather in the last 24 hours. So, guys, I'll have more on this for you a little bit later. Back to you.
Still unsettled, Matt. Thanks for that update. Okay, the coast not much of an escape from all of the mess in the valley. That is because about a foot fell in spots on the Coast Range. Drivers were forced to slow down through the slush. One family we talked to say they were headed west to find sunshine and maybe a little rain. Not this, though the kids thought it was perfect for late season snow for an extra snowball fight.
Really easy, honestly. You just pick it up and put it like in a circle and then you just chuck it. So, it's honestly really easy.
Yeah, we also saw significant school closures across our region today. Other districts operated on a 2-hour delayed start to give teachers and students extra time to make it in. And all the snow, obviously, a welcome sight on Mount Hood, if you could get there, that is. So ski resorts including Meadows hit with fresh powder, 27 inches at Timberline. If you're headed up, a reminder, we are now back in winter driving conditions mode. If the pictures aren't obvious here, a quick look at Trip Check. Those traffic cams will tell you what you need to know. You might need a shovel to dig your vehicle out, and the folks at Meadows say, know your limits.
These are the type of conditions that we tell everybody. You ride with a buddy and you keep them in sight. The beginner terrain even has some powder on it. I was talking to some of our lift crews at the top of our Easy Rider lift. There's waist deep snow.
Wow, waist deep. That means Mount Hood Meadows will be able to operate until May 7th again, if you can get there safely. Dragathon says Meadows was below snow averages headed into April. They're now going to exceed the average just after this single storm.
Well, that is great news. And because of all that winter weather, you may notice your garbage, compost, recycling cans didn't get picked up today, understandably. According to the Portland Bureau of Planning and Sustainability, there are some delays happening with normal pickup. They also say that could cause delays to grab your garbage all week long, even if your street is clear of snow. They say you should leave your bins at the curb and they'll get them as soon as they can. If there's more winter weather where you live, pickup may occur on Saturday. The Bureau also says garbage will take priority over compost and recycling.
Well, some folks were checking out on their neighbors this morning. Some very dedicated employees at the Portland Autobahn made sure animals in need were warm and well fed. Let's explain. Staff posted this photo on Twitter showing them hiking into work because trees and branches were blocking the road here. The nonprofit cares for injured or orphaned animals, and the Wildlife Care Center manager says some animals need consistent care, like baby hummingbirds that actually need to be fed every 30 minutes.
Right? We're there because we care about the animals and we want to see them succeed and be released back into the wild. And we can't just skip a day. We can't just not be there for them.
No sick days, no snow days. Hats off to the 3 who hiked in to care for a total of 41 animals. By the way, they spent most of the day without any electricity. It is really hard not to admire their dedication. Glad everyone's okay.
Yes, beautiful birds there. We know today's snow wasn't expected by many people, but that is why it's a good idea to download the KGW app, because I saw Joe Ranieri had this on there last night, so I was ready. It shows the latest weather conditions all around our region and other important news for the day. We will update you on roads, school and business closures there, and you can get the latest information if the power goes out. You can also find the same information you need any time of day at kgw.com.